Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Jennifer Sandoval here from Prestige Trucking, and we have another amazing Prestige Trucking informational today with two very talented, hardworking men. Well, one of the two, at least.
We'll let you.
You're gonna let him talk about you like that, Anthony?
Oh yeah, right.
Oh man.
I'm going to introduce our guests for today. Of course, we all know Viri, but our special guest today is our friend Anthony, who's visiting us from out of town.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah, my
So
name's Anthony.
introduce yourself. Tell us all about you.
Sure, I'm Anthony Searcy with Maximum Independent Brokerage. I'm located up in St. Augustine, Florida.
Oh, nice.
Been in the industry for about 7 years. I've seen a couple of Viri's videos in the past, so figured I have to do the whole bio. By training, I'm actually a registered nurse.
Really?
Yeah, I was a pediatric oncology nurse for years. I used to do peds bone marrow transplant.
Oh my God, that must be so stressful, especially because it has to do with kids. Like,
It
it's
is.
sad, like almost.
Yeah.
So it's completely different now in the insurance world.
Totally different. It's a different kind of sale. I was selling myself then. I'm really selling myself now.
Awesome. And Viri, you can introduce yourself once again.
Well, I'm the CEO of Prestige Trucking, and we got a big, great team here, and we want to inform you every day of some new tools that you can use to understand the industry better and also get some better pricing out there. So I appreciate Anthony being here,
You're very
and I
welcome.
think with this partnership, we can bring some value to everybody out there.
Absolutely. And let's get it started. Let's get right to the point of things.
Okay.
Talk to me what you do for work
Okay.
and I guess what is a part of that and what it means.
Sure. Maximum Independent Brokerage, which is located, our corporate office in Chicago, Illinois. Again, I'm in St. Augustine, Florida. We are wholesalers, which means our calling point or our client are the agents.
Okay.
We don't actually deal with the general public direct. So even if someone called me, I would have to find someone like Viri to actually take down all of the information. He'll put that information together, give it to me, and then I can take it to market. What does that mean? We really fall in two separate categories at Maximum, being a wholesaler. There's an MGA, which stands for Managing General Agent, which means we go to a lot of markets. We go to a lot of carriers in order to be able to get quotes done. But some of those carriers allow us the ability to rate the quotes ourselves. So we're also considered an MGU, a Managing General Underwriter.
So before we really get
Sure.
into the nitty gritty of that, for those, because I know that I feel like the trucking industry has just, especially with everything that changes, the new generation, it's changed so much. And there's so much new, younger, I guess, talent coming out. And some of them don't necessarily completely understand what all of these things are, all the
Sure.
terminology or any of that. So what is an underwriter?
An underwriter is the person that takes information that they're given about the driver, about the location of the risk, meaning the location of the trucking company in this situation, the type of truck that's being driven, the radius of operation, also the cargo that's being driven. We take all of that information and we can rate it or class for it so that we can come up with the appropriate pricing that is hopefully amenable to both the client and also the carrier so that they feel like they're collecting enough money in case of a claim that we can pay it and the client has something that's affordable that they can pay for.
Got it. You see, these are little things. I know they seem so simple. You guys work in it every day. You know,
Sure.
we're surrounded by these words. But realistically, a lot of people don't. And it's funny, I had a great conversation this weekend with a wife of a trucker.
Okay.
And she was like, I'm learning all of these new things. So you're saying things that I'm learning now and I get. And I was like, that's actually a really cool point, you know? And I think that's one of the most amazing things about Prestige Insurance informational videos that we're working on is not only teaching the people who are interested, but the people who also live with these people so
Yeah.
they could
Yeah.
understand.
And being a good support system for them.
Absolutely.
And I think if we can break it down a little further, us at Prestige as a retail agent, we're essentially the middle person between the trucker buying insurance and the carrier that's offering coverage. But when a retail agent deals with some carriers, we're not allowed to really speak to them directly. And there's another part of this formula, which is a different middle person where Anthony comes in. So the relationship that the retail agent has with a MGA or MGU is very important because they are representing the carrier in a lot of different ways. So that brings us to today's topic. When I forward information to Anthony, it's important that it's accurate and it's complete. And one of those pieces of information that we always want to make sure that's going to either give you the best rating so we can look at accurate is loss runs.
Most definitely.
So what are loss runs, Anthony?
Oh, I'm glad you bring this up. This is a very good question. But one of the things I will tell you, whenever we as wholesalers, MGAs, MDUs, get a submission, whenever we see in the body of an email missing information and the agent says, please quote this subject to, that means we don't have it. We're wanting you to guess, throw a price out at us, and then we'll give you the information later. To us, that's like fingers on a chalkboard. It's awful. Because if you think about it, we can only really make a decision on how to rate a particular risk with a few things. Number one, Viri talked about loss runs. If you have a trucking operation that's experienced, they've been in business for a little while, they're going to have some type of insurance history related to the amount that was paid out in the event that they had something arise that they were liable for. They ran into something, something ran into them, or they did something wrong. The insurance had to pay. So that liability claim, whether it be on the auto liability side, whether it be on the physical damage side, meaning they damaged their own truck, or whether it be on the cargo that they were carrying, those carriers will give us a loss run report that details a start and end date where the coverage was started and ended, and it may still be continuing, but all the claims activity that happened during that time.
Does that also include personal? So like, let's say you want to insure your truck.
Sure.
But you didn't have any accidents. Everything is great on your work front. Mm-hmm. But let's say on your personal vehicle, you've had an accident or two or whatnot. Does that affect that too? Does that go together in hand or?
From our standpoint, no.
Okay.
Because when we're rating a commercial risk, we're looking at that freight hauler, that Great Dane, whatever the truck may be. We're not worried about your Ford F-150 that you drive for your personal use or your Ford Focus or your Prius. That doesn't matter. Those loss runs will be generated by Progressive, Geico, State Farm, auto owners, right? We're looking for a commercial carrier to provide us with those loss runs. So no, the two things would not cross over.
I just didn't know. Like, to me, that's fascinating because at the end of the day, you're still driving a vehicle.
Correct.
So any driving history is that.
Well, those are two different things. Because remember, loss runs is going to be a report basically on how you behaved with specific carrier for certain coverages. But that's just a small part of the whole submission that you want the underwriter to see. Another part is going to be their motor vehicle reports. So this does bring in some of those personal instances, like if you got a big violation like a DUI, you had a personal accident, this person is going to be looked at as a higher risk for the carrier than somebody who may have a completely clean driving record. But those type of losses, a specific amount paid, may not be calculated into the premium on their personal policies. Which brings me to the next question, Anthony.
Sure.
There's people that they say, hey, I have no losses. Why do I have to give you loss runs? So what would you say to those people? Why do you have to provide losses or loss runs when you have no losses or just in general?
Well, think of me as your advocate that you're sending in a battle. You wouldn't want to send me in a battle with a bow and no arrows.
Right.
You wouldn't want to send me in a battle with a sheath and no sword. I need everything at my disposal to prove to the carrier that I'm writing on behalf of or the carrier that's going to be quoting it for me that what you say is legitimate. Right. I need all of that information in order for them to make a really good decision on your behalf. And this is going to affect you financially for the coverage term, which is going to be 12 months. So would you rather play a lower amount or a higher amount? Let's give them everything that they need.
Well, it's like going skydiving. You're not going to go skydiving without a parachute and the right pieces and your instructor. Like,
you're not just going to put the backpack on and jump out. Right?
Definitely
Subject to parachute.
So how often can a trucker ask for loss runs? And what kind of period of time are you looking at on the loss runs when you're specifically looking at? What are you looking for on them?
I'm really looking on some of the small fleet accounts that I have for whatever the term that they've been in business for. But if they've been in business greater than 3 years, I need at least 3 years. Some of the carriers will rate for as much as 5 years on the bigger accounts. So 3 to 5 years. When you look at the MVRs, minor violations, we don't count after 3 years. Major violations, we count up to 5. Majors being eluding the police, reckless driving, DUI.
All the fun stuff.
All the fun stuff. Yeah, driving really, really fast, 15 miles an hour over.
So loss runs is a report that you're going to get basically at the end of every year of your insurance term. So you get them like once a year.
You do, but there are some clients that have multiple trucks in their fleet. They want to make sure that there's no claims that have arisen that they did not know about. So maybe quarterly, semi-annually, they'll ask the carrier or me or Viri, and through me, to get them a copy of their loss run so they can make sure that their 10 trucks that were on the road, no claims happened that their driver might not have told them about.
Correct.
Because they're liable for it. That's going to affect their premium.
Here's one that I get all the time. They say, Viri, I gave you my loss runs from 2018 2 years ago. Why do you need me to get an updated loss runs and give them to you again? I already did that.
Sure.
What's the difference, Anthony?
Claims can arise after the policy's terminated. So let's say there was an accident that happened in December.
And somebody else put the claim on it.
Correct.
And you
but
didn't
your
even
policy
know.
ended at the end of December. Now here we are in January. You have brand new coverage with someone else, but the person that wrote your new coverage had no idea you had a claim in December. So now when you go to get your insurance rated again the next December, all of a sudden the claim from your old carrier is on that report.
Oh, wow.
So what's the oldest loss run that you want to see? If I'm sending you a submission and I ask the client, say, hey, give me that source so I can go to battle for you, and they give me something 6 months old, is that okay?
No. We will take loss runs no older than 60 days from renewal date.
60 days.
If they don't
Correct.
provide the loss runs, if they give me old loss runs, it's just going to be a matter of them not getting all the opportunities across the entire market for the best price.
That's correct. At that point, the best that we can do is give them an indication. So we can put in the information that they've given us, rate for that information, give them an indicated price of what we think it will be at that point, given what we have in our hands, but we cannot release a firm quote, which means what I've given you is not bindable. You cannot bind coverage with an indication. I would need all of the information to be able to do that.
Basically a waste of time.
It is. And
For
no
you,
one likes to
for
do
me,
that. I don't need any
and
more
for the
practice.
trucker.
Correct.
Yeah.
I've had situations where clients get a quote. They said, hey, this is a great quote. Can you match it? And at the end of the day, the other retail agent never collected loss runs, never got an MVR.
Yeah.
It's a day before they're about to bind, and they say, hey, the price just went up 10 grand.
Yeah.
Well, why is that? Well, because now they got the loss runs.
Yeah.
So don't waste your time. Give your retail agent all the information you need up front, because this relationship's really important. Right,
Yeah,
Jennifer?
and I was gonna say, so talking about relationship, obviously you guys have been in an awesome relationship with Maximum and Prestige.
Yeah.
How long now?
5 years.
It's been a little over 5
a little
years.
over 5 years.
Yeah, and when you have the right partnership, whether it's retail agent to client or retail agent to MGA, there's so much value in learning and growing, because I can tell you that Anthony has a big part of where our business is today. The way that he's educated me, the staff, our relationships, doors that we've opened for each other, and I think it falls concurrent with you having a good relationship with your clients. Because
Absolutely.
me having a great relationship with Anthony is just going to benefit the clients that apply, because you'll give me a quote in a day compared to them getting it in 7 days somewhere else. Right?
Yeah, sometimes hours. The one thing that I said whenever I met Viri, he was new to the industry, and for the most part, he didn't know what he didn't know. So I said, anytime that you need anything, make me your resource. You don't have to go bug anybody else here in the agency, call me, because I want to answer your questions for 2 reasons. Number one, it solidifies in my mind that I really do know what I'm talking about. And number 2, it will endear me to you because you know you have a friend in the industry.
Absolutely.
Secondarily, I told him, if you ever call me, I will always answer the phone. Have I ever let you down?
Never.
Never. Okay.
Never. Even I think there was that one time that I called you like at 4:15 in the morning just to test you.
I answered the phone.
I believe it too.
And he
That
and he
sounds
answered
like
the
a very thing to do.
I got out of the bed, walked outside with a pair of shorts on, and literally paced the parking lot to listen to what he had to say.
And we spoke for I think maybe 2 hours that
Yeah,
morning.
we did.
And it was just business, personal, whatever it was. But having the right relationships in business is what it's about. That's what Prestige is about. Yeah, we sell trucking insurance, but you got a whole team of people. You got an advocate in the industry, whether it's talking to an MGA or a finance company or whatever that might be. And not every insurance agent is created equal. So I definitely appreciate you coming in. And if you could give one word of advice, just one final thing that you would tell a trucker, what would it take for you to give to your retail agent to have the best opportunities of getting the best prices?
Don't blanket the market with your information. When you reach out to one agent, give them everything that they need, because that agent has at his disposal through me lots and lots and lots of markets. Don't think you have to go call 5 or 10 insurance agents and they're all kind of competing against each other for the exact same markets. It's not necessary. Be honest up front. If you have a ticket, tell them, because a lot of them say, I have no tickets. Then you run an MVR and you're like,
Right.
you have a DUI last week. Oh, I didn't think you would see that. That's amazing.
But that baffles me that people don't, like, especially in 2023, you can research anything and everything nowadays.
You can.
It's a click of a button away. So it's like, why waste everybody's extra time and just like make it easier for yourself, for your agent, for everybody. Just give us some information up front. If anything, give me over information so that way we know how to work with everything.
Correct. My favorite thing to say whenever I talk to, in this case, an agent, I'll talk to the client, I'll give them a price. And now realize whenever we do an auto liability filing, we're basically the insurance company is putting up $1 million on your behalf. If you get in an accident, that's what they're going to pay out, your limits. So let's say their insurance comes out to be $15,000 a year. They'll say, that's just too expensive. My favorite line is, compared to what? Usually they don't have an answer to that question. Secondarily, if price was the only option, everything we would own would come from Walmart. But I look around this office. A lot of people shop at the mall. A lot of people go to Macy's. Yeah. So it can't just be about price. The one thing you get with Prestige, especially with Viri, is you get Viri. Sometimes it costs a little bit more for expertise. That's why I never apologize about the prices that we quote. Because when you get me, you're going to get the promise that I'm going to back. Realize I'm making you a promise that if things go really, really bad on your worst day, we're going to make sure that this thing gets taken care of and they're not coming after you personally, hopefully. We can make the lawyer go away with the way that we have this insured.
And one of the things that I know that because Viri and Prestige works with you, and I'm pretty sure it's similar, is that you guys are so great at teaching.
Yeah.
At giving knowledge, information. It's like, hey, this is what you're seeing, but this is why you're seeing that. Like this is going to equal that, and it's going to, get it's a couple pennies more, but you know what? These couple pennies protect you more, and you understand more than from anywhere else.
Correct.
There was a story, and one with this that an agent got a client got a price $4,000 cheaper from another agent, and he transported beer and wine. Guess what was an exclusion on his policy?
Beer and wine.
Beer and wine. You know how much revenue this guy was generating a year that he couldn't tap into because now his policy didn't accept that for $4,000. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. So when you're talking to an agent, whether it's Prestige or whoever that agent might be, are you looking to buy insurance or do you want a piece of paper? You know, we want to insure you for what you need. So that day when things hit the fan and you need the right person to protect you, does your policy cover it? Did we do the due diligence? Or is this just a personal auto insurance agent that's just trucking out and they don't know what they're doing? So
this isn't
have
an
the
industry
right
you can try.
partnership, the right relationship. It means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you so much for being here with us.
You're very welcome.
And if anybody has questions or they just want to get to know more about you, how can they get in contact with you?
You can give me a call. My personal number on my desk at work is 904-801-1236. Or you can email me. It's my name, Anthony, Anthony, S as in Sam, @max, that's MAX, I as in igloo, B as in boy.com.
Awesome. And I know I'm only doing that on purpose because you said at the beginning that any and every phone call you get, you're going to send to Prestige.
There you go. Yeah, all of them.
So with
every
that
one
intent,
of them. Sure,
if they're
that's
avoiding
perfect.
calling us, they're going to find a way to get to us anyway.
That's perfect. I've been dealing with Viri for a very, very, very long time. So you'll love this guy.
Thank you so much for being here
You're very
and
welcome.
sharing your knowledge with us. Once again, you guys don't forget to follow us. Follow us on Instagram @Prestige Trucking. My name is Jennifer, here with Anthony and Viri. Thank you guys for another Prestige Trucking Informational. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.